Food is the currency of life. When the government and billionaires want you to live for money, it's time to live for food. They want you dependent on others for food. This is backwards. In a real successful society without billionaires and government, we would have abundance. And we would share and barter with our neighbors with our abundance. In our society now, which I consider modern slavery, we strive for an accumulation of that money, with an idea in which we can buy whatever we need dependent on others. The society today brings vampirism, which is cutthroat, having a competition over money with our neighbors and our friends and our relatives. We compete with our peers over status of job in order to fulfill our satisfaction. However, satisfaction never comes. The value of money is being deflated by the day, making your earnings and savings less and less valuable. And just to earn or spend more money, the government has to take a giant portion of what you earned. This just keeps you trapped in debt with mortgage payments, rent, property taxes, etc. The list goes on and it's endless. And there just won't be a time to ever be satisfied, because even after you retire, you still have to pay your property taxes, rent, etc. This is a direct disconnection with food and a connection with money. Money's just numbers on a piece of paper that we consider to be an IOU, which is illusionary. Money also brings the greed element, which can never satisfy one's needs, no matter the amount. The real society we need is only brought by a level of anarchy, which is not chaos. Real anarchy is peaceful, where no man or corporation has legal authority or rule over another. And all transactions are either mutual or contractual. And I know that sounds crazy for the average TV watcher or movie watcher who thinks that anarchy is just complete chaos. See, chaos is only what groups like Antifa, Black Lives Matter, or even socialism bring about. Anarchy is where no ruler can obtain ownership over a human being. And until we have real anarchy, there's always going to be slaves and owners of slaves. Or, as I like to call it these days, modern slavery, which entails a threat of debt owed upon birth to that of a parent corporation. In anarchy, such things cannot persist or exist. And the children are in the natural care of their parents and guardians instead of the state or a corrupt billionaire or corporate entity. And this right here is exactly what made us successful, keeping us independent, strong, and successful. This makes us responsible for our children and our own prosperity. And without any entitled ruler to claim of our property, our product of labor, or even our children. This is why anarchy is the only peaceful society, that everyone can just pitch in as they deem fit and be rewarded with abundance. Abundance is based on effort. So what you put in, you get out, without anyone having total claim or right to that product of labor, or to tax or steal your money, or your property. The alternative is that we're in a constant state of spinning a hamster wheel for a monetary complex on this planet, which is not benefiting us and is only rewarding that of which is stealing. So this would be the rulers, this would be the billionaires, and they are profiting off of our ignorance and our slavery. Being a slave is essentially weakening our genetics, making us docile, and removing the codes in our genetic code for alpha qualities. But if there's no dollar or monetary system, what should we use? The natural currency system in the world is called food, and we as humans have it super easy. We have domestic livestock and access to millions of seeds which plant fruits and vegetables and herbs and greens. The system is so easy, It feeds itself. All you gotta do is feed your chickens your scraps from the garden, scraps from the kitchen, and they reward you with eggs and meat. Then you can use that manure, the eggshells, all the scraps from your kitchen, from your garden that you're not feeding your livestock with, and you can put it all into a nice compost pile. Then, your compost is broken down by insects, worms, other microorganisms over time. Then, the compost can be used as fertilizer for your garden. Then your garden feeds us and the livestock. This strategy is harmonious, each serving each other, creating abundance. And what you don't have, you can trade and barter with your community or your neighbors. This gives you all that you need and more. Paper money cannot feed anyone unless its slaves will accept that paper money for that food. So they need to be brainwashed in order to accept it. Look, working for money every single day in a system that just steals from your prosperity is not a healthy system. As if you were to ever have an abundance of money, you would still not share it with your friends or family. You would just hoard it. But I assure you, if you only have 6 hens, like I do, I get 6 eggs a day. That's more than enough for me to eat. And unless I want to eat 6 eggs a day, I'm going to share whatever abundance or whatever leftovers I have with my family and friends and my neighbors and my community. Hoarding is what we do with money. It's to keep you dependent on the slave plantation. Last year alone, I had 10 to 40 tomatoes every single day that I was harvesting. You think I'm gonna eat 40 tomatoes a day? Of course I couldn't eat 40 tomatoes a day. If I ate 10 tomatoes a day, I'm giving 30 away to my closest loved ones and family members. Do you see the difference between living for money and living for food? Happiness is natural, but the system right now deprives us of any type of prosperity. Now is the time. Stop playing ball. Stop being a part of a system like this. We need to stand up and be responsible today, because right now under this rigged current system, abundance and prosperity is damn near impossible. The only certainty in this world is the need for food, shelter, and clothing. And it just so happens to be the current slave owner's agenda to control your food, shelter, and clothing. Henry Kissinger once said, "Control oil, you control a nation. Control food, you control the people." What we need today is to stop being plundered and bullied and controlled and murdered and stolen from by billionaires. We need to be natural, to be grounded to earth. It is much better than to being stuck in this modern day concrete jungle of poverty, depression, and uncertainty. Imagine a world living for food and sharing that abundance, rather than a world ran on the premise of slavery through debt of money, in which we hoard our leftovers. We need to start forming our own communities and start changing the society to this new prosperous lifestyle. It might not be new, it might be back in the days of Noah, but this will be new for us. This will eventually weed out that current system, that current monetary system, and bring in this new harmonious, new lifestyle that will bring us prosperity and abundance. Anarchy and living for needs is not crazy thoughts. It's the true law of nature. No other creature is brainwashed out of this unless domesticated. Look around you. Those are free-range slaves. Those free-range slaves have no knowledge of the power that exists, that is limitless on this beautiful planet we live on. I encourage you, be responsible for your food today. It can only bring abundance. If you have an acre of land, turn that acre into food, not grass. If you don't have any room or any land, well, let's say you live in an apartment, well, get some buckets and put them up on top of a roof. See, there's always a roof where you can put a bucket and you can plant your peppers or whatever seeds you want. There's no excuse. 7 years ago, I planted on a roof and I had an abundant yield of peppers and tomatoes and onions, and I was prosperous and abundant. No matter what, there's always a way to get it done. There's no more excuse after watching this video. Now's the time. Go out there, be responsible, start taking care of yourself and your loved ones. Be an alpha. Be the change, be the light of the world. The only one stopping you is you.